Hey, my friends, welcome to Faith-Led Healing. I'm your host, Tammy Trayer, and today is episode number 19. And we are going to continue with our Toxicity series. Today, we are going to be talking about toxins, and we are going to be diving into our water. And keep in mind that I am not providing any medical or mental diagnosis, cures of any kind, as well as advice in any way. What I am doing is desiring to teach you how to get to the root cause of the things that are ailing you. And toxins and toxicity is typically where you want to start. So let's talk about water. Water is abundant. It's everywhere. It used to be really clean. Our world is no longer clean. So our water is in question. And we've got well water, we've got city water, we've got bottled water. And we're all coming from different locations. So in today's world, it's very common for our water to need to be filtered and tested for sure. If you are drinking city water, it's going to be essential that you are filtering your water in one way or another, whether it's a system on your home or whether you're using a Berkey water filter on your counter. But I highly recommend that you are filtering your water. There are things in our water that is not being removed. So a lot of the city water is going through processing plants, oftentimes sewage being transferred and converted over into drinking water. And they do a lot of different processes to get it to the place of drinking water, but things are not being 100% removed. So you've got people flushing down, illegal drugs, you've got over-the-counter meds, you've got prescription drugs that are being flushed down the toilet. Those things are not being removed through the process, so you are ingesting those things when you are drinking water. A lot of the places are putting fluoride in the water. Fluoride is very unhealthy and causes a lot of problems in the body. You've got Clorox, different types of Clorox treatments that these plants are utilizing, chemicals. All of that is what you are drinking when you are taking from the tap. The other thing that's happening is if there is Clorox in the water and you are getting a shower using that water, you are also not only topically receiving that on the body, but you're also breathing in the fumes from the Clorox being heated, which is also not healthy. So having a filter on your shower head, they're like $30 and it's so worth it just to eliminate, any kinds of toxicity. But if you are going to be filtering water for your home, you can do that at the level where the water is entering your home so you don't have to go to that added expense. If you're drinking from plastics, you want to be really careful that you're not using just the clear plastic bottles. You want to be sure that you're using BPA-free plastic bottles. And quite honestly, there's a lot of companies that are making glass bottles. I know that it's, inconvenient and maybe easier to break, but if you can drink out of a glass bottle versus a plastic bottle, it's so much healthier for you, because with the clear plastic bottles, you are ingesting plastic, and that just destroys the body, your hormones, and it's not healthy for the body. It causes a lot of issues, and we'll be diving into those things later, but I want to touch on, what you can do in your environment, in your home, to be sure that you are drinking the best quality water, and that you are, being aware that some of these things could be bothering you topically as well. So, we utilize a Berkey filter here, and currently Berkey is in a lawsuit with the FDA, so over their charcoal filters. So their products are not, their products are not 100% available currently. I do like their products. I do think that there's a little bit to this lawsuit that's going on, but I will offer you other options as well as the links for the Berkey. You will find those in the show notes. In addition, in the show notes, you will also be able to find the toxin guide, which I will be sharing in these next couple episodes. You can go to faithledhealing.com/podcast-19. and you will find the link in there, or you can go directly to faithledhealing.com/toxin guide, and you will be able to find the resources that I will be referring to throughout the Toxicity series. It's important for us to have knowledge, and my theory is that knowledge is not power until we're putting it into action. So we can all, learn all this stuff, but if we're not doing anything about what we're learning, we're not helping ourselves. So what I want to recommend is that you take these guides that I'm going to be offering you and these handouts, and you create a binder, because, we can't remember everything, and it's nice to have things to refer back to. And I guarantee you will be referring back to these sheets if this is something new for you. But it's really important that we clean up our environments and our homes and the things that we are using to the best of our abilities. And it's a process. So again, don't be overwhelmed, but every day, every month, work on things that you can do to clean up what you're currently using and make your life and your surroundings a healthier place. Because once you get healthy from detoxing, you want to be living in a place that's going to keep you that way. And we talk about this a lot too in the preparedness side of things, but this does not mean that you have to spend a lot of money to accomplish this. You might need to put a little effort in and do some things for yourself. For example, I like to make candles for myself. I like to make soaps and to do things like that myself. I make my own perfume. Apricot oil and essential oils go a long way, and they are wonderful. So there's so much that we can do for ourselves, and I will be sharing more on that between the blog and the series as well, giving you some recipes and things you can do. I make my own laundry soap. I make my own cleaners. And I really feel that it's a very easy task. It takes some time out of my month. I'll take a day and create what I need. But I like to do that. It's a level of me being the scientist and the chemist, and concocting and throwing things together and making things that are going to help my family be healthy. It also, honestly, saves us a lot of money doing this. So, a lot of times people think that in order to clean up our acts and in order to clean up our homes, it's going to cost a lot of money, but it doesn't have to. You can do it on a shoestring budget. But again, you just might need to take some time to do some things versus going out and having something quickly purchased off the shelf. And things are getting more expensive as we go. So you'll be doing yourself a favor having that knowledge and being able to make things for yourself as well. So with the water, I will have resources available on my resource page, which you can find by going to faithledhealing.com/resources, and you will find some of the different water purification filters that you can use that are easy to just put on your counter and pour your water into and let it filter it, and it has a tap on it. There are others that are sports bottles that have filters built into them if you like to hike and travel. When I travel with my husband, when I get the opportunity, I go very clean, and I really am very cautious of what I am ingesting, what I am surrounded by, and I also try to make things as easy for myself as possible. So there are things that I take with me to enable that I can be the healthiest I need to be. So again, sports bottles will be available. There's copper vessels, which is also a really good tool to help make your water more antimicrobial, antibacterial. I love the copper vessels. I usually have mine here on my desk, but I do not have it with me today. And then the filtration systems for the home. those are really important as well, and having a good resource for them. And there's so many on the market, but not all of them are the same and equally created, so they're not removing everything. So that's important to consider. The other thing is, if you're on a well, you want to make sure that your well water is tested. We live in Idaho. They did a lot of mining for gold and garnet, and there's been a lot. This is a logging state, so they are logging trees all the time. So there have been things that have been in the forest, and I live in the wilderness, but it's important that that you check to make sure that the water that you are drinking is safe. And also just the levels of maybe if you have a copper sensitivity and there's high copper in the water, or there's high iron in the water. Out here there's a lot of iron, so if you have high iron, that would be a really important thing for you to know, whether your water is adding to your difficulties. So really important. Usually the tests that we've done here are between like $175 and $250. Very worth it. That way you have a clear picture of what's going on with the water that you're drinking. One thing I didn't mention too is, there's a lot of farm country across the United States, and we've got a lot of runoff. We've also got a lot of airplanes dumping things into the air, which then ends up on the ground and ends up in our water when it rains. Runoff is a big, is a common thing, and the runoff is running into our streams, into our well water, into the city water. So there's a lot of things, that affect our water. So you've got pesticides coming from the fields, things being dumped on the ground from the air, manufacturing, and just different things that have happened to the soil over the years and years, and those things are still there. There are pesticides that have been removed and banned for decades, and is still in the soil and still surfacing today. So it's really important to realize that there's a lot of things affecting our water, and the more cautious we are and aware of the things that we can do for ourselves, the better off we are. So water is something you want to, we need it, and we need to have a good source. So knowing what you can do for yourself and your family is vital. I like using the Berkey because then if the power goes out, and granted I'm solar, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm off grid with solar. But if your power goes out and you have a water filtration system, and your water's not really good quality, or you have high iron, having a countertop filtration system is really helpful, because then if the power's out, you still are able to continue to get good, clean water. This is something that we think about. As I said, I live off grid. I also educate in the preparedness and survival arena as well, because of our lifestyle in homesteading and living off grid. So these are things to think about, having a resource and an item that is going to carry you through regardless what your circumstances are. So that is why we do tend to lean toward the Berkey, and we really do enjoy using the Berkey filters. So again, you'll find all of those in the resources for today's show, as well as on my resource page. I look forward to sharing more with you guys. There's nothing better than feeling healthy and living a good life, and I know that I can lead you and guide you into that arena. So take care, have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. God bless.